The moment of truth has arrived, and you cannot run from it any longer. Your dreams are suffocating under the weight of your own scattered existence, and every single day you delay bringing order to your life is another day stolen from your divine destiny. Napoleon Hill understood this fundamental truth when he wrote that success is not an accident, but a deliberate construction of ordered thoughts and disciplined actions. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 14:40 that God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. Yet here you stand, allowing chaos to reign supreme in the very life He designed for greatness. Stop lying to yourself about why your goals remain unreached and your potential stays buried beneath mountains of disorganization. The harsh reality is that your life is not falling apart because the universe conspired against you, but because you have chosen disorder over divine design. Every cluttered corner of your existence reflects the scattered state of your mind, and every moment of confusion signals to the world that you are not ready for the blessings that await the prepared soul. Your heart burns with magnificent dreams, visions that could transform not just your life, but the lives of everyone around you. Yet these sacred aspirations are drowning in the quicksand of your own making. The messy desk that greets you each morning is not just furniture out of place, it is a monument to your defeated spirit. The endless distractions that pull you in 17 different directions are not harmless diversions. They are dream assassins working overtime to ensure you never rise to your true calling. The world has no obligation to reward your confusion, and success will never bow to your disorder. What the world respects, what life responds to, what God blesses, is the soul brave enough to impose divine order upon earthly chaos. Napoleon Hill discovered that every millionaire, every innovator, every person who ever rose from nothing to something first conquered the battlefield within their own mind and environment. They understood that external transformation is impossible without internal organization. Consider this sobering truth. While you waste precious hours searching for misplaced items, successful people are building empires. While you struggle to remember what you were supposed to accomplish, champions are already 3 steps ahead of their competition. While you drown in the overwhelm of unstructured days, winners are executing precise plans that bring them closer to their destiny with every calculated move. The power you desperately seek will never be found in random bursts of motivation that fade faster than morning mist. Real power, lasting power, transformational power, lives in the sacred rhythm of structured action performed day after day until excellence becomes your natural state of being. You cannot climb mountains while your mind is trapped in the valley of disorder, and you cannot build the life of your dreams on the foundation of chaotic thinking. The time for excuses has expired, and the season of transformation begins the moment you decide that organized people do not just dream differently than scattered people. They achieve differently because they think differently, plan differently, and execute differently. The difference between those who struggle endlessly and those who conquer consistently is not talent, not luck, not connections, but system. A divinely inspired, carefully constructed, religiously followed system that transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary momentum. When you finally surrender to the discipline of daily order, when you stop negotiating with your lower nature and start commanding your higher purpose, something miraculous happens inside your soul. The fog of confusion lifts, the weight of overwhelm disappears, and you begin to move through life with the calm confidence of someone who knows exactly where they are going and precisely how they will get there. Napoleon Hill spent 25 years studying the most successful people of his generation, and in every single case, without exception, he discovered that achievement begins with the seemingly simple act of bringing order to one's immediate environment. These titans of industry understood what the book of Genesis reveals. that God himself began creation by bringing order to chaos, separating light from darkness, organizing the elements, and establishing systems that continue to govern the universe today. Your current environment is speaking to your subconscious mind every moment of every day, either reinforcing patterns of success or programming you for continued failure. When you wake up to clutter, your brain receives the message that disorder is acceptable. When you work in chaos, your creativity suffocates under the weight of visual noise. When you live in confusion, you inadvertently train your mind to expect and accept mediocrity as your permanent address. But when you create sacred space through intentional organization, something profound shifts in your consciousness. Your environment becomes a silent partner in your success, constantly reminding you that you are a person of excellence, discipline, and divine purpose. The clean desk becomes an altar of productivity. The organized schedule becomes a roadmap to destiny. The structured routine becomes a launching pad for miracles. The enemy of your dreams is not lack of opportunity, it is lack of preparation. Every chance that slips through your fingers, every door that closes before you can walk through it, every blessing that passes you by exists because you were not ready when readiness was required. Success does not wait for the unprepared soul, and destiny moves too quickly for the disorganized mind to catch. Think about the people you admire most, the individuals whose lives represent the fulfillment you crave. Without exception, they have learned to master their environment before attempting to master their circumstances. They understand that external chaos is always a reflection of internal confusion, and they refuse to accept disorder as a permanent condition of their existence. The process of bringing order to your life is not about perfection, it is about precision. It is not about having everything exactly in place. It is about having everything intentionally placed. When you know where your tools are, you can build faster. When you know where your time goes, you can invest it more wisely. When you know where your energy flows, you can channel it toward your highest priorities. Every act of organization is an act of self-respect, and every moment of structure is a vote for your future self. The person you are becoming deserves better than the chaos you have been accepting, and the dreams you carry deserve more than the disorder you have been allowing. Your organized environment becomes a sanctuary where inspiration can flourish, and where your highest thoughts can take root and grow into reality. Remember, the scripture teaches us in 2 Timothy 1:7 that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of sound mind. A sound mind creates sound systems, and sound systems produce sound results. The divine order you establish in your physical space will inevitably manifest as divine order in your spiritual life, your relationships, your finances, and your future. Listen, friend, if this message is resonating with something deep in your heart, if you feel that stirring of recognition that says this is exactly what you needed to hear right now, then you are part of something special. You are part of a community of people who refuse to settle for ordinary lives when extraordinary destinies are calling their names. Do me a favor right now, do yourself a favor, and hit that subscribe button, because I want to walk with you on this journey from chaos to clarity, from confusion to conquest. Drop a comment below and tell me the one area of your life that needs the most organization right now. I read every single comment because your transformation matters to me, and when you share your story, you inspire someone else to begin their own journey. And please share this message with someone who needs to hear it, because organized lives create organized communities, and together we can change the world one ordered life at a time. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is preparation for the life you were born to live. Napoleon Hill discovered that every person who achieved lasting success developed what he called definiteness of purpose, coupled with the unwavering discipline to pursue that purpose regardless of emotional weather or external circumstances. The Bible confirms this principle in Proverbs 25:28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Your emotions are not your master, they are your servants, and like any good servant, they must be trained to obey the higher commands of your conscious will. The weak person obeys feelings, but the strong person commands them. When your alarm sounds at 5 in the morning and every fiber of your being wants to remain in bed, that moment is not about sleep. It is about sovereignty. It is about declaring to the universe that you are the captain of your ship, the master of your fate, and the architect of your destiny. Every time you choose structure over impulse, discipline over comfort, order over chaos, you make a deposit in the bank account of your future self. These deposits compound over time until you reach a point where excellence is no longer something you strive for. It becomes something you cannot help but express because it has become woven into the very fabric of your character. The undisciplined person lives at the mercy of circumstances, blown about by every wind of change, reacting to life instead of creating it. But the disciplined soul moves through this world with purpose and power, understanding that consistent small actions, performed with unwavering dedication, will always triumph over sporadic bursts of intense effort, followed by long periods of inactivity. Consider the oak tree, which grows slowly but steadily, adding ring upon ring of strength until it becomes mighty enough to withstand storms that topple trees that grew too quickly without proper foundation. Your discipline is like those rings of the oak, each day of consistent action, adding another layer of strength to your character until you become unshakable in your resolve and unstoppable in your pursuit of excellence. The world is full of people who start strong but finish weak because they built their lives on the shifting sands of emotion rather than the solid rock of disciplined action. They work when they feel like it, exercise when they are motivated, pursue their dreams when circumstances are perfect, and wonder why their lives remain ordinary while others achieve extraordinary results with seemingly the same 24 hours available to everyone. Discipline teaches you that motivation is not required for action. Action creates motivation. When you move your body even when it does not want to move, you generate energy. When you organize your space, even when you do not feel inspired, you create clarity. When you follow your plan, even when your emotions rebel, you build unshakable confidence in your ability to keep promises to yourself. The disciplined person understands that every battle is won or lost in the mind before it ever reaches the physical realm. When you train your thoughts to align with your highest purpose rather than your lowest impulses, when you program your mind for success rather than allowing it to default to survival, when you choose to think like the person you are becoming rather than the person you have been, you unlock power that most people never discover. Napoleon Hill wrote that the starting point of all achievement is desire backed by burning faith in the attainment of that desire. But desire without discipline is merely wishful thinking, and faith without works is dead, according to James chapter 2, verse 26. Your discipline is the bridge that connects your dreams to your reality, transforming invisible vision into visible victory. The enemy within you will whisper 1,000 reasons why you should delay, why you should wait until tomorrow, why you deserve a break, why this one time does not matter. But every time you silence that voice with decisive action, you grow stronger. Every time you do what you promised yourself you would do, especially when you do not feel like doing it, you build the muscle of self-mastery that will serve you in every area of your life. Remember, the scripture tells us in Galatians 6:9, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Which your disciplined actions today are seeds being planted in the soil of tomorrow. And if you remain faithful to the process, if you trust the system even when you cannot see the results, you will reap a harvest that exceeds your wildest expectations. The disciplined life is not about being perfect, it is about being consistent. It is not about never falling. It is about always getting back up. It is not about having no weaknesses. It is about not allowing your weaknesses to have you. When you embrace discipline as a friend rather than fighting it as an enemy, you discover that what you thought was restriction was actually the pathway to the freedom you have been seeking your entire life. Time is the only currency that matters, and every second you waste in disorder is an investment in a future you do not want. Napoleon Hill understood that successful people treat time with religious reverence because they recognize it as the raw material from which all achievement is constructed. The Bible reminds us in Ecclesiastes 3:1 that to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. But most people live as if they have unlimited seasons and endless purposes, when the truth is that our time on this earth is both precious and finite. The tragedy of the disorganized life is not just what it prevents you from achieving, it is what it steals from the world that only you were designed to contribute. While you waste hours searching for lost items, someone else is building the business you dreamed about. While you spend energy managing chaos instead of creating value, someone else is writing the book you plan to write. While you live in the confusion of unstructured days, someone else is living the life you were supposed to live. Every minute that passes in disorder is not just time lost, it is momentum killed, energy scattered, and purpose delayed. The disorganized person experiences time as an enemy that moves too quickly and provides too little, but the organized person experiences time as an ally that provides exactly enough for everything that truly matters. The difference is not in the amount of time available, it is in the quality of attention given to each precious moment. Successful people understand that time is not something you find. It is something you create through the elimination of the non-essential and the organization of the vital. They do not have more hours in their day. They have more focus in their hours. They do not possess supernatural energy. They possess structured systems that multiply the impact of their natural energy. They do not avoid all distractions. They create environments that make distraction difficult and focus inevitable. The organized person treats each hour as sacred real estate that must be purchased with intentional decision-making. They understand that saying yes to one thing automatically means saying no to something else, and they make those choices consciously rather than allowing circumstances to make those choices for them. They live by design rather than by default, and this fundamental shift in approach transforms ordinary time into extraordinary results. When you wake up without a plan, you hand control of your day to whatever demands attention loudest. When you work without priorities, you invest your energy in urgency rather than importance. When you live without structure, you experience the exhausting frustration of being busy without being productive, active without being effective, tired without being triumphant. But when you organize your time with the precision of a master craftsman, when you treat each moment as a tool to build the life you envision, when you refuse to allow precious hours to slip away in mindless activity, you begin to experience what Napoleon Hill called the mastermind principle. Your organized approach to time creates synergy between your thoughts and actions, multiplying your effectiveness and accelerating your progress toward your most important goals. The Bible teaches us in Psalm 90:12 to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. This is not morbid thinking, this is strategic thinking. When you truly understand that your time is limited, you stop wasting it on activities that do not contribute to your purpose. When you genuinely grasp that each day is a gift that will never come again, you become selective about how you unwrap that gift. The person who masters time discovers that they have enough time for everything that matters and no time for anything that does not. They stop saying, "I do not have time," and start saying, "That is not a priority." They stop feeling rushed and start feeling purposeful. They stop experiencing life as something that happens to them and start creating life as something that flows through them. Every successful person you admire, every achievement you respect, every transformation that inspires you, began with someone deciding that their time was too valuable to waste on disorder. They organized their schedules like generals organizing armies, with each minute assigned a mission, each hour given a purpose, and each day designed to move them closer to their ultimate objective. Your relationship with time reveals your relationship with your own potential. When you treat time carelessly, you are treating your dreams carelessly. When you allow time to slip away in disorder, you are allowing your destiny to slip away with it. But when you honor time through organization, when you invest time through structure, when you multiply time through systems, you honor the divine gift of life itself. My friend, if you have made it this far in this message, it means something is stirring in your heart, something is awakening in your spirit, something is calling you to a higher standard of living. You are not here by accident, you are here by appointment with your own transformation. I want you to know that I believe in you. I see the greatness that God has placed inside you, and I am committed to helping you organize your way to the life you were born to live. Please subscribe to this channel right now, because you belong to this community of champions, this family of overcomers, this tribe of people who refuse to settle for anything less than their divine destiny. Tell me in the comments what specific area of your time management needs the most attention, and do not be afraid to be vulnerable, because your honesty helps others find the courage to change. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it, because when we lift others, we lift ourselves, and together we create a movement of organized, purposeful, victorious lives. Your environment is not neutral. It is either programming you for success or programming you for failure, and there is no middle ground. Napoleon Hill discovered that every successful person he studied created what he called a mastermind environment, where every element of their surroundings supported their highest aspirations rather than reinforcing their lower tendencies. The Bible tells us in 2 Corinthians 6:17 to come out from among them and be separate. And this principle applies not only to negative people, but also to negative spaces that drain your energy and diminish your potential. The space you inhabit shapes the thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, and the actions you take. A cluttered room creates a cluttered mind, and a cluttered mind produces cluttered results. But when you create an environment of order, beauty, and purpose, you create a sanctuary where your highest self can emerge and your greatest work can be accomplished. Your surroundings become a silent partner in your success, constantly reminding you of who you are becoming rather than who you have been. Every object in your space carries energy, and that energy is either lifting you up or pulling you down. The stack of unfinished projects whispers stories of incompletion. The pile of unopened mail speaks of avoided responsibilities. The desk covered in chaos broadcasts messages of overwhelm. But the clean workspace declares your commitment to excellence. The organized files announce your readiness for opportunity. The structured environment proclaims your dedication to growth. The act of organizing your space is not about impressing others. It is about inspiring yourself. When you walk into a room that reflects order, your mind automatically shifts into a higher gear. When you sit at a desk that demonstrates care and attention to detail, your thoughts become more focused and your creativity flows more freely. When you live in an environment that honors your potential, you naturally begin to live up to that potential. Successful people understand that their environment is their competitive advantage. While others struggle to find motivation in chaos, they have created spaces that generate inspiration automatically. While others fight distraction in cluttered settings, they have designed environments that make focus inevitable. While others search for tools in disorganized spaces, they have systems that put everything they need within arm's reach of their dreams. The Bible teaches us in Genesis 1 that God looked at his creation and saw that it was good, and then he rested. But God's rest was not the rest of exhaustion, it was the rest of completion, the satisfaction that comes from creating something beautiful and functional and purposeful. When you organize your environment with the same divine attention to detail, when you create spaces that reflect your highest values and support your greatest goals, you experience that same satisfaction of completion. Your organized environment becomes a physical representation of your internal transformation. Every drawer that contains only what belongs there represents a mind that thinks only thoughts that serve your purpose. Every surface that is clear and clean represents a heart that is free from the clutter of past mistakes and future worries. Every system that works efficiently represents a life that operates with divine precision and supernatural effectiveness. The person who masters their environment discovers that external order creates internal peace. When everything has a place and everything is in its place, the mind can focus on creation rather than location. When systems work smoothly and efficiently, energy that was once wasted in frustration can be redirected toward achievement. When the environment supports excellence, excellence becomes the natural outcome rather than the exceptional effort. Napoleon Hill taught that success is attracted to those who are ready to receive it. And readiness is demonstrated not just by internal preparation, but also by external organization. Opportunity recognizes organized people because organized people recognize opportunity. When your environment is prepared for blessing, blessing finds it easier to locate you and remain with you. The environmental transformation you create becomes a magnet for the life transformation you desire. As you organize your space, you organize your thinking. As you clean your surroundings, you clarify your vision. As you structure your environment, you strengthen your discipline. The external work of organization becomes internal work of character development, and character is the foundation upon which all lasting success is built. Your environment should tell the story of where you're going, not where you have been. It should reflect your potential, not your past. It should support your dreams, not your doubts. When you look around your organized space, you should see a physical manifestation of your commitment to excellence, your dedication to growth, and your determination to become everything God created you to be. The scripture tells us in 1 Corinthians 14:33 that God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. When you create an environment of divine order, you create a space where God's peace can dwell and where His blessings can multiply. Your organized life becomes a testimony to His goodness, a demonstration of His power, and an inspiration to everyone who enters your sphere of influence. Remember, you are not organizing your life for others to admire. You are organizing your life for God to inhabit. When your environment reflects His order, when your systems demonstrate His wisdom, when your spaces honor His presence, you become a living temple where miracles can happen and dreams can come true. The moment you bring divine order to earthly chaos, you stop simply existing and start truly living the abundant life that was always meant to be yours.